You know all those pings, dings, and notifications that are constantly pulling at your attention? Well, what if I told you there's a skill that in today's world has become a genuine superpower? It's the ability to truly focus, to do what author Cal Newport calls deep work. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The one skill that's becoming more and more valuable for getting ahead is the exact same skill that we're all getting worse at. That paradox right there is exactly what we're going to unpack. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we need to figure out what we're up against. So we'll look at the distraction epidemic. Then we'll get into the big idea, the difference between deep and shallow work. After that comes the fun part, the 4 rules for how you can actually build your focus. And finally, we'll zoom out and see how all of this leads to, well, a deeper and more meaningful life. So seriously, why is this focus superpower so incredibly rare these days? Well, the tough truth is that our entire modern work environment, it's practically designed to crush it. Think about it. You've got open offices with constant interruptions. You have that never-ending flood of Slack messages and emails, the infinite scroll of social media, and that underlying pressure, you know the one, to be connected and responsive all the time. Sound familiar? Yeah. These are the culprits, the architects of our shallow work culture. And this leads to a really dangerous trap. See, when it's not clear what productive actually means, we start judging it by what looks like work. You know, firing off emails at lightning speed, being active on every chat channel. We mistake all this visible busyness for actually getting valuable stuff done. So, is there a better way? You bet there is. But to get there, you've got to understand the one big idea that changes everything, the crucial difference between 2 very, very different kinds of work. First up, we have deep work. This is the good stuff. We're talking about activities you do in a state of pure, locked-in, distraction-free concentration. This is the work that pushes your brain to its limits, the work that creates brand new value, and the work that's really, really hard for someone else to just come in and replicate. This is where the magic happens. And then you've got the other side of the coin, shallow work. Think of all the logistical stuff, answering routine emails, scheduling meetings. All those tasks you can kind of do on autopilot while you're half distracted. They don't really create much new value. And honestly, almost anyone could do them. And this is where most of us are spending our days. Now, what's really eye-opening is when you put them side by side like this. The contrast is just wow. On the left, deep work is what builds your skills and your career. On the right, shallow work just kind of keeps the lights on. One is about creation, the other is about administration. So the big question you've got to ask yourself is, which column are you living in? It all boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful formula. The quality of the work you produce isn't just about the hours you clock. It's the time you spend multiplied by the intensity of your focus. Every single time you just quickly check your email or glance at your phone, you're not just taking a little break. You are absolutely destroying that intensity multiplier. And get this. This isn't just some productivity theory. It's straight up biology. When you concentrate really intensely on one thing, your brain starts wrapping the relevant neurons in a substance called myelin. Think of it like putting rubber insulation on an electrical wire. It makes the connection faster, stronger, more efficient. But when you're multitasking, you're firing off all these different circuits at once, and that crucial insulation just never gets a chance to form. Okay, so we know the problem and we know the goal. Now for the good stuff. Let's get practical. This is the actionable playbook for how you can start building this superpower for yourself starting today. The whole framework is built on 4 core rules. Number 1, you have to actually structure your life to work deeply. Number 2, you've got to retrain your brain to embrace boredom. 3, get absolutely ruthless about your relationship with social media. And finally, number 4, systematically drain all that shallow work from your schedule. Now, there's no one-size-fits-all here. You got to pick a style that works for you. The monastic approach, that's the hardcore mode. Think of a writer locking themselves away in a cabin. The bimodal approach is where you split your time. Maybe you go deep for a few days, then come up for air for the shallow stuff. Rhythmic is probably the most popular. It's about building a consistent habit, like blocking off 9 to 11 a.m. every single day for deep work. And journalistic is for people who can switch into deep mode on a dime whenever they find a pocket of time. Get ready for this one, because it's a total game changer. We're wired to think we're taking breaks from distraction to try and focus. Newport says flip it. Your default mode should be focus, and you should schedule your breaks from focus to go check the internet or whatever. See the difference? Distraction becomes the scheduled event, not the constant state. And this slide just hits the nail on the head when it comes to technology. Most of us use the any benefit approach. We think, well, this app has some possible benefit, so I guess I'll use it. And we totally ignore the huge cost to our attention. The craftsman, on the other hand, is way more deliberate. They only adopt a tool if its benefits massively outweigh the negatives. It's a huge mindset shift. And that last rule, draining the shallows, can be summed up with this one image, 5:30 p.m. or 6 p.m., whatever time you pick. The point is to have a hard shutdown to your workday. Look, this isn't about being lazy, it's the opposite. Having a fixed deadline forces you to be ruthless about what's actually important and what's just time-wasting fluff. So we've got all these rules and tactics, but what's the real endgame here? Because this whole thing is about so much more than just ticking off more items on your to-do list. It's about fundamentally upgrading the quality of your entire life. Think about it. When you are totally immersed in a challenging task, your brain literally has no attention left over to stress about the small anxieties and annoyances of life. A day spent in deep, meaningful effort is an incredibly satisfying day. It gives you a sense of purpose that a frantic day of shallow busyness just never, ever can. And that really brings it all home. Cal Newport himself just puts it so perfectly. Learning how to cultivate focus isn't just a career strategy. It's a direct path to a life that feels more intentional, more meaningful, and just better. So I'll leave you with this final thought. In a world that is constantly, desperately fighting for a piece of your mind, remember this. Your focused attention is the most valuable thing you own. It's your most precious asset. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?